In today's video, we're going to be going back over that Arctic blast and overall big cooldown that is coming up. If you missed yesterday's video, we're going to be going over it today, so don't you worry about it. First things first, we're taking a look at this current radar imagery though, and then we'll break down those temperature patterns in just a moment. We will take a long-range look as well, just like we did yesterday. So we're going to get all the way to October, which is really exciting to think about. Now, we see that there is plenty of precipitation here from the Four Corner States, stretching all the way up to the Pacific Northwest, actually. And the flow does appear to be in that order, just like this. These are mostly lighter. There is some heavier pockets down low. We will talk about that in a minute. Now, up here in the upper Midwest and the plains, we do have some thunderstorm activity. Overall, there's a pretty strong low centered right here. And this is allowing a lot of storminess to develop around it. We can see that there is just this area here of storminess, thunderstorms, and showers, and it's stretching up the East Coast, and it's probably going to stretch even further up the East Coast over time. We'll talk about that a little bit later on. Let's start out here in the Northwest, where there is just lighter showers around. There isn't much to mention here. There is some moderate pockets here, but overall this is some lighter showers in nature. Now, we do see that for the Four Corner States, there's a little bit of some heavier activity. Oranges, yellow showing up. In those pockets, it's going to be heavier, obviously, but there is still a lot of green going on, and this is going to be light to moderate overall, I would say. Now, it's when we look at the upper Midwest and the plains when things get really interesting, because there's, first off, some pretty bad thunderstorms developing underneath here for Kansas, Nebraska, Iowa, Missouri. These areas seem to be the worst of the thunderstorms. Up here in the Dakotas, Minnesota, and Wisconsin, this appears to be more like heavy showers to me. The yellows and oranges do not seem to be like thunderstorms to me. Also, to the north of this area, we see some of this activity, the upper peninsula of Michigan. Areas in northern Minnesota and northern Wisconsin there as well. We're seeing those heavier showers. Just want to take a little bit of a zoomed in look at these thunderstorms, and you can see them really just popping up this morning. We're going to be on the lookout for these. These could bring some severe weather, of course. Now, as we take a look here at the Gulf of Mexico, we can see these tropical thunderstorms just developing here. And what I mean by that is very humid, very hot conditions that bring these pop-up thunderstorms near the Gulf of Mexico almost daily. That happens. It's very, very common this time of year for these regions, and we've seen it all summer long. Don't be surprised if there's sudden downpours, flash flooding, a lot of lightning, and potential hail or damaging wind with those, or even a stray tornado cannot be ruled out in those types of conditions. We see a little bit more organization up here to the north, South Carolina, North Carolina here. We even see a waterspout or a tornado that took place. I don't know which one that is, but that's pretty interesting there. We did have a tornado warning with that, so potentially a tornado took place in South Carolina early this morning. Very, very interesting. This is bringing probably quite a bit of rainfall, and it is quickly extending northward up the coast, so be on the lookout for that if you're north of this region. And then that's basically it. So what we're going to do is we're going to move on. We're going to really dive into the upcoming Arctic blasts, overall the big cool down that we're going to be taking a look at, the nor'easter pattern we could find ourselves in, and we'll even take a long-range look at that pattern. Now, here we are taking a look at the upcoming temperature pattern. We're going to just hop right into it because I know you guys probably watching this video for this temperature pattern. We're already in some cooler conditions here in the eastern United States. As you can see, there is an upcoming air mass that definitely looks like a stronger pocket of cold air, going to be a more intense Arctic blast for sure. Even by the time we're reaching early next week, Monday, Tuesday time frame here, we see a lot of cooler air in these regions. Keep in mind that the blues are going to be about 1 to 10 degrees below normal. Your greens are going to be about 10 to 15 degrees below normal. So those greens are definitely going to be a definite jump above what those blues are as far as how far below normal those temperatures are looking. Now, by the time we're reaching about Thursday, Friday time frame, things are looking a little bit less intense with the cooler air. There's still definitely that neutral to cool air in these regions. We also definitely still have this positive P&A out here. However, we do see that this air mass is a little bit less persistent in these regions. Now, there is an air mass coming up soon that we will see that definitely looks to change things up. Now, the positive P&A kind of comes to an end a little bit here towards the end of the month. We're talking Saturday, Sunday time frame, or about a week from now. And that's going to force this warm air to head a little bit further eastward. Now, is this the end of this big, cool period that we're in, really? Well, by the time we're reaching Monday, July 29th, we see this positive P&A return. So again, positive P&A in there returning, and we see a massive Arctic blast about to really work its way into the eastern United States here. We're watching this closely, but that's Monday. Here's by Tuesday, a little bit of a spoiler alert there, but look at how strong this positive PNA is. Again, we've talked about it, that this forces this cold air to work its way around that positive PNA, and it forces it into the eastern United States. That's why we see these patterns take hold. Wednesday the 31st, look at how potent this is. Again, the greens are going to be about 10 to 15 degrees below normal. Those blues that are a little bit of a different color than the blues outside of the green that are inside the green, those ones are going to be 15 to 25 degrees below normal. And those magentas that you see over Canada there, that's going to be 25 to 35 degrees below normal. So absolutely insane departure from normal there by Wednesday. We even see Thursday here, September 1st. We're going to really start September on a cold note. You can't make this up. This is so classic. Jet stream looks about like this, and it works its way around the northeast a little bit. So we do see some warmer air set up over these regions, but that just allows for this cold air to reach even further south into the eastern United States, and this warm air is just rushing upward. So this is a classic ridge in the west, trough in the east pattern that this model has here by September 1st. I'm sure a lot of people would be excited about this that have been having a really, really hot summer. Friday the 2nd, looking almost nearly as cold. We have, again, the warm air set up over these regions, the cold air over here, and especially for the northeast where this reaches much further eastward. You guys will be in on this cool down by September 2nd. Again, the greens are going to be 10 to 15 degrees below normal. That is very, very widespread here in the eastern United States. So a huge departure from normal for an absolutely insane amount of people here. And then we finally start to chill out with that cool down. No pun intended, but it really does calm down by the time we're reaching the 3rd, 4th, 5th time frame where there's a lot of neutral air. This positive PNA has definitely come to an end again, but it could reform. But by the 4th, 5th time frame, there's some more question marks here on our model run. Now, let's take that long range look here. Okay, so this is week 1, 19th through the 26th of August. Clearly a positive PNA being indicated by this model, and clearly cooler air in the east indicated by the model. Now, as we reach days 7 through 14, which will be the 26th of August through the 2nd of September, so we're getting to early September now, we see clearly warmer air set up over the western regions of North America, and the eastern regions of North America are seeing cooler than normal conditions. So at least through the next 14 days, this long-range model is indicating we're going to be stuck in some sort of pattern like this one. Then, by the time we're reaching the 2nd of September through the 9th of September, things cool down even further here. We have warmer than normal conditions prevailing in the west, and these cooler conditions are getting even cooler here in the east, especially the further south you go, the more colder than normal we're seeing things be, really. Now, by the time we're reaching about the 9th of September through the 16th of September, this is when the model gets a little bit confused. Whenever you see a single air mass from coast to coast, you know this model is not really showing what's going to happen. This is not a clear pattern that you really see. We would either have a ridge in the west or a ridge over the east and a trough in the west. That's usually what you would see, nothing really in between, and that's what we've seen all year. Very rare to see a pattern from coast to coast that is the same for everywhere. Probably not going to happen. And we can see even from the 16th through the 23rd, that's what's occurring here. And the only time here that I really see a clear-cut pattern on this model run is at the very end again, from the 26th of September to the 3rd of August, where things significantly cool down for the west. Now, there's an old saying, this is important to note, that basically how October goes, winter will be the opposite of October. I've heard that many times. I've heard that a warm October means a cool winter is coming up for wherever it was warm. And, you know, if you have a really cold October, well, that's a pretty clear sign that you could have a warmer winter. You know, I think there could be some real scientific correlations between those things, but there also could be none, and it could just be, you know, a coincidence. It's hard to say for sure. Now, that's the upcoming temperature pattern. I hope you guys enjoyed that portion of the video. Let's get into that storminess, talk about potential nor'easters as well. And here we are taking a look at it. We can tell already just today a lot of the storminess here is in the southern United States. This is because the jet stream is doing this, so it's dipping down. and a lot of the storms are following this flow. Again, if you watch the beginning of this video, these storms are moving kind of like this. They're following the jet stream. So, pretty clear and cut pattern there. We're really stormy here by the time we're reaching early on Monday, up and down the East Coast and for the Gulf of Mexico. So something like this is the flow. Very clear that there is a trough in the east, and these storms are just following that flow. Now by Tuesday, it's the same thing again. The storminess is mainly in this region. So this is that nor'easter pattern. A nor'easter could form at any point along this with all this storminess already in place. Now things quiet down pretty much here for the west or the East Coast here on Wednesday, August 24th. Let's see, by Friday, things have already kind of picked back up. So we see these storms taking place for a lot of these regions in here. Now, by the time we're taking a look at about Tuesday the 30th, we do see a pretty strong low developing here. I think this one's going to move out to sea, but if it was to move up the coast, that would be a pretty clear indication of a nor'easter. Also notice this is when that Arctic blast comes in, so watch this air mass really dive down. I want you guys to see this because you can really see it there. You see that dipping down? That is that Arctic blast. And for this time of year, that is a very significant cool down. Right around September 1st that this model is calling for. We have a lot of storminess, again, kind of riding up the jet stream just like this. Remember that there's warm air over the northeast. We were talking about that. So really the jet stream is doing this, and the storms are following that line for the most part. A really strong low develops over northern Canada there, or not really northern Canada, but north of the United States in Canada. And then really at the end of the model run, we see things really cool off here for this region. They calm down. We see the Four Corner states still seeing some precipitation, and it looks like a potential snowstorm heading into the Rockies, which could be the first snowfall for the United States of the season. Definitely would be very interesting to see if that occurs in the first week of September. That'd be a little bit earlier than normal, but not really unheard of. Now, total precipitation through the next 15 days. Here we could see that if you're anywhere in the whites, we're expecting practically no precipitation. Your grays will be about 1/10 of an inch or less of precipitation. Your greens will be 1/10 of an inch to 1/2 an inch. Your blues will be 1/2 an inch to an inch. Your yellows will be 1 inch to 2 inches. Your reds will be 2 to 5 inches. And then your browns will be 5 to 10 inches of precipitation. Now we can pretty clearly see where these storms are coming from and where they're going. They're pretty much heading like this for most of the model run along that jet stream, or more like this. Again, the northeast does miss out on some of that trough, so the jet stream follows much more like this, and we see a lot of the 2 to 5 and 5 to 10 inch amounts in this corridor, where most of the storms will follow over the next 15 days. So I find that fairly interesting, and that is a ton of precipitation, by the way, for the red and brown regions over the next 15 days. So we're going to be really watching closely for all of these things. Now, let's take a look here at the 5-day graphical tropical weather outlook real quick. And there's a big update here because look at that. We do have a code orange here. 40% chance of development over the next 48 hours and 40% chance of development over the next 5 days as well here on our 5-day graphical tropical weather outlook. So we're going to be watching that one, especially for some Texas impacts or northern Mexico there along the Gulf Coast. Definitely could bring some impacts over the coming days. We're going to be tracking this daily. Be sure to subscribe for that reason. We are going to be watching that one. Also, be sure to smash the like button if you did like the video and leave a comment down below with your thoughts. I'll see you guys in the next video.